What's up, everyone? I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. I'm excited to be on here with you guys today. So, if you guys are joining us, go ahead, drop a comment in there. Let me know who is watching and where you're watching from. Today's going to be a very good training if you have students that are in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade that are, either they're looking at trying to improve in math or they're looking at trying to take their ACT score to the next level. Anybody that's going to be, looking at trying to do that, it's going to be in a good place here for today's session. So, like I said, guys, I am super, super pumped to be in here today, talking about this topic because I don't think it gets talked about enough. And when we think about students seeking out success, whether it's in math or whether it's in ACT prep, we have to be looking at the right pieces of the puzzle. And I think most of the time when you think about teachers and instructors, they're only looking at one piece of the puzzle. If we're missing the other building blocks, we're not going to get to the result that we want. So, guys, if I have not met you yet, again, my name's Kyle Simon. I'm an academic coach. And I have been helping students over the past decade improve in their math skills and just crush their ACTs, hit 30 plus scores, and help them just open up those doors of opportunity into different schools, as well as help them avoid much of that student loan debt and try to get as many scholarships as they can so that they are not saddled with that burden coming out of school. So today's training, guys, is really going to be about looking at what I call the learning trifecta, okay? And the learning trifecta is made up of three key pieces, okay? The one that everyone talks about already is going to be strategies and techniques and things that you need to do or have in order to be successful. For instance, in math, if you want to get better at math, well, you probably need certain concepts or certain techniques to get better at math. Same thing with the ACT. To do better on the English part of the ACT, well, you need to learn your grammar and your punctuation rules. In order for you to get better at the ACT science section, well, we have to learn how to take the test, how to read it, how to, look at the passages, analyze them, and then go into the questions and tie those back together. Now, before we dive into the other two, I want to make sure that we're kind of tagging people in this video that wanted to. So just give me a second here, guys. I'm just going to tag just a few people in here. All right, cool. So I got them tagged in here. And really, guys, the other two parts of the learning trifecta that no one is talking about is first a student's environment, right? Who are they surrounding themselves with, right? What's going on with that? Because if we're surrounding ourselves with people that are successful and that are striving for the same goal, well, we're going to want to get there as well. And the other part of the learning trifecta that no one really talks about are developing our habits and our routines. And that's really what we're going to be diving into in depth today, is how do we help your student find the discipline and find the motivation to push forward through challenges, through barriers, to get to that dream on the other side. Now, the question kind of seems obvious here, guys, that you know what? It comes down to the discipline that we have to actually obtain those pieces. Now, a lot of people will say that. They'll say, oh yeah, I just need the discipline. I just need to stay consistent in terms of moving towards my goal. But so many people say that, and then when the first little bit of friction comes up where they're, set up against a challenge, they instantly quit. And we have to ask ourselves, why is that, right? We've all seen it before. We've all seen the people that go to the gym and they may go for 1 or 2 weeks, and then after a while, when the alarm clock goes off, they stay in bed and they don't go to the gym the next day. Right? Why are those people staying in bed, and why are other people getting up week after week after week and chasing after their dream? What's the difference? Well, guys, the difference is that if you are just telling yourself to be consistent If you're just telling yourself to be disciplined, you're going to fail each and every time because it's just talk, okay? What we have to realize is that if you're just saying that, you're not plugged into the source. So what do I mean by that? What is the source? What is the energy source that keeps energizing us to keep pushing towards our dream? And really that comes down to the vision that we create as to what we want. So when we think about, let's take an ACT student, what is their vision? Well, a vision is built up around a couple things. It's either based around avoiding pain or getting to a place of pleasure, right? That you actually want. So when you're talking to your ACT student, the last thing you want to tell them is, oh yeah, you need to be disciplined, you need to study every day for the ACT. That's going to go in one ear and out the other, guys, because there's nothing that they are connecting to with that. It's just the ACT. But if you can start talking to them about why it's important, why do they need a vision out there to shoot for? Well, we can start talking about some pretty tangible things. You know what? Do you want more freedom? Do you want more freedom of choice in terms of where you go to school? Because the last thing any of us want is to, put in an application for a college and to get that letter back saying that we've been rejected. Nobody wants that, right? We all want to be in that situation where we've applied to 10 different schools and they have all sent letters back to us saying, yes, we want you and we want to give you a scholarship. We want to throw a cherry on top, right? And that's really the other part of the equation, is realizing that, man, college is expensive. And if I don't want to burden my parents with that, if I want to actually take responsibility and ownership for going to school and paying for it, well, we need to put this time in right now in order to reach that end goal. Because guess what, guys? Getting to the end of the line, going through school and coming out with student loan debt is something that I hope none of your kids have to deal with. Because I had to deal with it. I had to pay all my loans back, and I'm glad that I did it quickly. But I also know that my sisters went through school and they're still trying to dig themselves out of the hole. And nothing is harder in life when you're trying to make it in the world, you're trying to run a new business, and you got debt hanging over your head, and you almost got like a noose around your neck. I'll tell you that coming out of school, paying that off was the best thing I ever did, because it allowed me to then pursue my dream of running my own tutoring business. That's why I'm talking to you guys right now. And so we have to start presenting these visions to our students to say, you know what? Do you want more freedom? Do you want more choices? Do you want the ability to go wherever you want? Do you want to go to school out of state, right? Because out of school, or state school, out of state schools, let me get that right, are very expensive. It's like double the cost of what you could get, going to school here in Ohio. So we just need to make sure that we're helping our students craft that vision of what they want. Now, that was the pleasure part of it, but what's the pain part of it? If I think about that same equation, well, how long would it take a student to pay off, let's say $35,000 in student loans, if they were working a minimum wage job, $8 an hour at McDonald's? It's going to take a hell of a long time to get that saved up and to pay that off. And you almost feel like you're working from behind because the interest just keeps racking up on the loan payment. And so when we look at that, we have to create a big enough vision, a big enough dream, so that when students are hitting those rough parts of frustration and just like feeling down on themselves, they can always go back to the vision that's going to give them that energy to say, wow, I can't take today off. I got to keep going, because I know that if I don't, I'm going to end up right where I am right now. And so, when we think about that, sometimes it's easier to think about, well, what gives me discipline? What gives me that motivation to keep going? Well, it's the vision. And it's also thinking about, well, what is the cost of not taking action? What's the cost of inaction? Well, 2 months from now, if I'm in the exact same spot I was before, man, I haven't done anything to better my situation moving forward. Okay? So guys, being able to tie into that vision, help your student dig into their why. Why do I want to do this in the first place? What's it going to benefit me? How do I do that, right? Now, the key that we have to realize is, everybody has has different schedules. Everybody has other things going on in their life. And what we have to realize is that if we have a goal, if we have a dream or a vision that we want to get to, well, we have to make it a priority. If I asked you guys how many people get to their end goal by saying, I wish I could do this. Let's say that it was like running a business. I wish I could run my own business. Not many people would A, even start because they're too afraid, or B, if it's just a wish, the first time that they hit any point of discomfort or fail at something, they're going to instantly quit. And that's what we have to realize. That's what we have to help our students understand, is that discipline is a muscle. We have to train it, okay? We have to train it to respond and to push through barriers. So when we are looking at our goal, when we're looking at our dream, when we're looking at our vision, we can't say, oh, I wish this would happen. Instead, we have to change our mindset. We got to change it up here, and we got to say, oh no, it's not a wish anymore. It's a must. I must get to that end goal. And I'll tell you guys from firsthand experience that when I quit my job to start my own tutoring business 4 years ago, Breakthrough Tutoring is coming up on its 4-year anniversary here in July, and I'm so proud of that. And to say that 4 years ago, I didn't put my toe in the water to start my own business. I jumped full on, turned in my resignation letter, and jumped in the cold pool. That's saying something, because at that point, it wasn't just a wish anymore. I immediately turned it into a must. Because guess what? I quit my job. And now I was in the space where I had no retreat. There was no way I could go except forward towards my dream of owning my own tutoring business and helping kids on a daily basis master their math fundamentals and crush the ACT. That was my goal. That's my goal 4 years ago. That's my goal today. But it has transitioned, guys, into something bigger than that, in the sense that my vision, I used to think of it just around math and ACT, but you know what? It's about mentoring your sons and your daughters so that they can take this as a stepping stone and apply it to every other area of their life, right? Math and ACT is just the gateway for me to be able to come in, mentor them, challenge them, start getting them to think differently about what they're doing, to address the fears and the worries and the doubts that they have in themselves and what they're doing. And then to see them go off into other areas of their life, whether it's sports, jobs, college, what have you, with this new refined mindset about what is possible and what they can do, and understanding that they have so much potential inside them. That's why I do it. And I love talking about these concepts because they are so critical to a student's success. Again, it's not just about the strategies and the techniques. It's about changing the mindset, developing the discipline, right? And the habits and the routines, and telling ourselves constantly, developing our identity that we are amazing students, right? We are quick learners. We are, fast processors that can problem solve, that can do anything that gets in our way, that knock down every barrier. That's what I help students do, and I love it. I love it. Every single day that I have the opportunity to change lives and to help someone break out of that shell, break out of that comfort zone, just makes my day. So, guys, to recap today, right? We were talking about the learning trifecta, and we were diving into discipline and habits, right? Understanding that the vision is the key. And then to say, you know what? In order for me to stick with it, I got to change my ideas from I wish to I must. I have to change my standards. I got to change what I settle for, right? If you just think you're an average student and a B is okay with you, that's where you're going to be in life. If you want to exceed expectations, crush it, get scores that you never even imagined you could do. Hell, that's what I'm getting for students on ACT. They don't even think they can get higher than a 24, and they are killing it and knocking out 32s, right? They're blowing their own minds because they thought in the beginning that they couldn't do it. So guys, just remember that in order for a student to succeed, they need three things. They need the right environment. They need to be with other people. They need to be with winners. They got to be with people that are pushing and striving and grinding to get there so that they can be with a team and feel encouraged and also be able to be brought up when things are going the other way, right? We need a team there. The habits and the routines and the discipline is what we talked about today. And then finally, you still need to know the strategies and the concepts. We got to master our fundamental skills. But guys, I am so pumped to be here. I know that for me, having the discipline to keep pushing day after day to chase after my dreams is hard. It's difficult. I want you guys to know that it's not easy for anyone. Right? It's not just something that you wake up in the morning and you're just like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Because when my alarm goes off, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do it. But I've found that Mel Brooks is an inspirational speaker. She talks about the 5-second rule. It's about making decisions before your brain has a chance to tell you that you're bad at it or that you can't do it. And so that's what I'm implementing when I get up in the morning. When the alarm goes off, I'm like, nope, no more snooze. Got to get up. 5 seconds. Same thing when I'm jumping into a call with a new parent that maybe I feel uncomfortable about. 5 seconds, just do it. When I jump on a live training here, this was definitely not something that I was comfortable with back in the day. And so, you know what? If you sit there and think about it and think about it and think about it, you'll never do it. And so it really comes down to action. It comes down to moving and coming up with a plan and just executing. Information without implementation leads to frustration. We gotta act. We gotta move. Without movement, there can be no change. Okay? So guys, if you have a 10th or an 11th grade student that's looking at trying to just crush their ACT this summer, I have classes that are launching on a monthly basis there. Reach out to me. I'm gonna go ahead and put a link down here in one of the comments. If you want to go ahead and schedule in a success session with me, we can go ahead and figure out where your student is, where they want to get to, and the checkpoints they need to hit in order to reach that goal. And we can come up with that vision. We can come up with that drive. What's going to get them to that goal? We can come up with that. And also, if you have younger students that are looking, at 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade that are looking at trying to master their fundamental algebra skills, because algebra is the key to every single other math course out there that your student's going to see in high school. If they are tired of feeling stressed and frustrated and having anxiety around math, maybe it's just never clicked. Maybe things have just always been blurry and they've never looked clear. Every single day they go into math class and it's like deer in the headlights for them. I encourage you to reach out, click that same link, set up a student success session, and we can go ahead and see where they're at. And again, map out that game plan to get them out of that space that they're in. Don't let them hang there, guys. They will hang there as long as possible, but they don't have to. We can make a different decision today, and we can help them elevate and improve, and I swear it's going to transform other areas of their life, and we can't kick the can down the road any further. Doing that is just compounding the effect that it's going to have, okay? So I hope everybody gains something from today's training. Just remember, discipline is what it takes to get to that point of success. Vision dictates discipline, which dictates consistent action, which constantly moves you towards your goal. So guys, I hope everyone has an awesome week. I'm looking forward to coming back on here next week. And next week we're going to be chatting about, how do we actually plan out our ACT prep curriculum? When do we start? And what does that look like for our students? How do we make sure that they're getting prepped early so that they're not running into having too many things on their plate come crunch time towards the end of their junior and senior years? So I'm excited to speak with you guys about that and fill you in on that info. So hope everybody has an awesome week. We'll talk to you then.